display here in your cafe. So the first one I'm going to start with is it's a queen staircase that was taken in Nassau, Bahamas. And basically, these kids were just standing around. Their mother was selling straw hats at the bottom of the queen staircase, which is a prominent tourist attraction in Nassau, Bahamas. So anyways, they just had them line up, sit down on the stairs, and the photograph itself, I took it with my Canon 81 at the time in 1980, and I cropped the picture just to have the staircase behind them and put them in the forefront. It's not quite black and white, it's almost a sepia color, but I thought it looked pretty good at that, at an 8 by 10 size. Next one is, once again, is in Bahamas, 1980. Actually, I did tour many of the islands one summer in the Bahamas. So I took a picture of the cupola because I like cupolas. So that was the main reason I took it. It's actually from a color slide, but I, once again, like black and white photos, so I cropped it. It was taken on a telephoto with my Canon 81, and yeah, I was just sitting on a building in, actually in Long Island, Bahamas. The next one, once again, is in 1980, which I had flown over to Melbourne, Australia on a tour through the continent. Went around the center and then on the west, the east coast actually. This was a picture taken in Melbourne, Australia, 1980, and at the time, that was one of my first travels. That was before I got the Canon. I took it with a Pentax camera, and I angled the shot, and I thought it looked like a very dramatic architecture picture. Once again, it's in black and white. Okay, the next shot is, once again, it's 8 by 10 in a landscape format. This was the Notre Dame. Prior to the fire, of course, it was taken in 1998 to Paris, France. And although I have several shots of the architecture of the Notre Dame with its famous arches, but I took a closer shot just because I just wanted to get a closer shot of the more detail of the architecture, particularly the gargoyles on each pillar, and of course the stained glass windows. And I think a lot of that is now burned out. I think they're restoring that now. And once again, I do like lighthouses, and we're back in San Salvador Island in Bahamas. Back in 1980, I took this with my Canon. This would be my newest camera at the time, after I traded in my Pentax for the Canon. And this is looking up at the Dixon Lighthouse. There's the village of Dixon, and it's a prominent lighthouse. It's on the east coast of the island, and I just thought the curvature of the window, the architecture, matched with the curvature of the lighthouse itself at the top of the lights. Just thought it looked like a very dramatic shot. Okay, for streetscapes, this is in the old city of Jerusalem, and I was just happened to turn the corner of this particular street. It's in the old part of Jerusalem, and the boy was obviously much closer, and it would have been nicer to have him as subject matter closer, but I just hurried and took the shot because he's reaching to the top of the stairs. So anyways, I do call it Boy on the Stairs, and once again, the dramatic effect of the narrow streets, which are many of them in the old city of Jerusalem. And I thought it made a great shot. And here we are, another lighthouse, and this is the famous one where I live in Dumbville, Ontario. Called, the locals call it Gull Island, but it's officially known as Mohawk Island when you look on the charted maps of Lake Erie. Lake Erie is part of the Great Lakes in the region I live in, part of Canada, and it's located at the Low Banks. And this was taken in 1981. I was out there many times, but this particular day I went out with a friend James. We took a small Thorns aluminum boat with a 6-oars, and it was particularly calm. From where I took the boat, I live 4.5 miles up into the river. So it's a bit of a haul to get out to this particular island. And it was a very calm day. And once again, it was kind of an overcast, foggy day. So I thought the shadow in the calm waters was just perfect to make a silhouette shot of the lighthouse. And there wasn't that many birds this time. It's now a bird sanctuary today, and you can't really get on the island that much. Another lighthouse. This particular lighthouse, it's actually the Dixon Lighthouse. It's the same one that earlier shot, but it's standing back a little farther off, and it just gives you the top half, and you can see the light housing of the light standard, and once again the architecture is very unique for that time, and it's a black and white, but it's truly actually white. It's a pure white lighthouse. And I took this with my iPhone. At the time I had the iPhone XS, and the sky was clear, and just the unique architecture of our post office in Dumbville. And so I just cut the photograph in such a way that you could capture the side image of the post office against the clear skies. So again, just more of a dramatic effect. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for liking and subscribing, and I hope you enjoyed my explanation of my pictures. And I'm going to finish my tea here at the Mingling Cafe, Dumbville, Ontario. Thanks, folks.